What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're back here with our last video of the week, and we just got breaking news that Victor Wembanyama is going to be out for the season. So this will also be the first Spurs rebuild I've been able to do since the Fox trade became official, because obviously I did a couple of those Fox rebuilds before it even happened. But every single time I did one of those, this team always made the playoffs, obviously led by Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. But now, more than likely, this team is going to end up in the lottery, and that's going to change a number of different options for the Spurs. So let's go ahead and jump in and do I don't really know what to call this, but obviously a De'Aaron Fox kind of Spurs rebuild that now that's official, plus Wemby being hurt. I don't know what to call it, but let's just do the Spurs rebuild in 2K25. Before we get into today's video, make sure guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. YouTube tells me about 57% of the people that watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. So if you do fall in that 57%, want to change that, that would be greatly appreciated. So right now, obviously the NBA is finally about to come back from the All-Star break. The Spurs are the 12th seed in the West, 23 and 29. Wembanyama has some type of shoulder injury. I don't really know if the right exact wording is in 2K, so I just gave him right shoulder tendonitis, but we'll make him healthy, before next season starts, obviously. But this would make you think that the Spurs will not make some type of playoff run this year or playoff run. They'll more than likely have a lottery pick. Now, whether or not they draft will be, another question. They could, attach that pick to some salary and make another big trade. Number of different things we could potentially do. So depending on what pick we do get, that is the option we will run with, depending on where we pick. But I'll still wait to the end of this rest of the regular season. We'll see where our pick ends up, and it'll open up a lot of options for us in the offseason. So at the end of year one, Jokic wins MVP, Sar is Rookie of the Year, Naz Reid Sixth Man, Anthony Davis Defensive Player, and Amin Thompson Most Improved, and Jokic your Clutch Player, and Mark is your Coach of the Year, and John Murphy is your Executive. Honestly, if you're a Spurs fan, while this does suck, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, because more than likely this wasn't going to be the season you win a championship. I think you probably need more help. This gives you a really good asset in the offseason to work with, whether or not, like I said, you draft with it, or if you trade it for like a different player. Like there's a number of different things you could do with a lottery pick, especially in this draft. So player stats, he had 24.5 from Wemby, of course, before he got hurt, 23 from Fox, 15 from Vassell, 12 from Castle, 11 from Keldon Johnson, 11 from so on, 10 from Barnes, and 9 from Chris Paul. So let's go ahead and see who goes on to win the whole thing. It'll be the Battle of LA in round 2, and they made it to the conference finals, but the Knicks and the Mavericks ends up being your finals. So somebody in that, got the Mavericks going on to beat the Knicks in 5, so they get a championship with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. So LeBron James always trying to retire after one season. Chris Paul, I'm actually going to go ahead and let him retire. Didn't really want to bring him back anyway. But for the lottery, obviously this is going to change a number of different things. Like I said, the last couple of Spurs rebuilds I've done, they've always, been in the playoffs with Wemby and Fox. And now we can be in the lottery, see where this pick ends up. So we're the 8th best projected pick. So I kind of want to watch this. I usually don't, but I kind of want to see if we get lucky. So Atlanta is going to stick with 14 via the Kings, which will help them out a ton. Brooklyn is going to stay at 13. So far, even though it's only been 2 picks, that's the Phoenix Suns pick, by the way. Rockets will have, so we got 12, and then number 11, Oklahoma City Thunder. We got Philadelphia. Wow, there's some picks going out to other teams via other teams. So Miami is, so far no one has jumped up, which is good. It's coming up to us, though, in here just a second. Toronto Raptors, number 9, don't jump up, and they jump up. So we land the 9th overall pick. So the Raptors jump up in the top 4. The Blazers have 3, Wizards 1, 2, Jazz. So I would have loved to have gotten lucky there and, move into the top 4. I know Popovich has been kind of sidelined lately with, I forgot exactly what he was struggling with, but I know someone else has taken over in his absence. But let's go to draft night, and let's see what our options are. So to me, with the 9th overall pick, it definitely opened, in 15, by the way, from Atlanta. This opens up a number of different opportunities we want to rock with. So the Hawks actually made the playoffs, which is really annoying because that would have been a for sure lottery pick too. So I didn't even really think about that. The Spurs could have 2 lottery picks this offseason, which is wild. That could really help them out. So Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, but that Barnes contract definitely helps out a ton. So yeah, Fox obviously as the point guard and Wemby as the center. So Vassell, I don't mind as like the starting shooting guard, obviously. Or no, that's going to be Castle's role. Just kidding. So, and then Barnes. So to me, it's all about if we want a different forward here. And is there an option like that this offseason for us to go for that would make sense? Or do we just simply want to draft with 9th overall and the 15th overall pick? You really can't go wrong either way. This is a damn good draft class. So I don't mind just drafting if we need to. But I do kind of want to explore the idea of what forwards could be available for the San Antonio Spurs to look after. I guess there's marketing if you wanted to go that route, but honestly, I might just draft here, dude. I don't know. You could maybe swing for like Zion if he becomes available, which would be pretty wild, but I think building with 2-star players is kind of the meta right now anyway, because obviously once you pay 3 max contracts, it becomes hard, while Wemby is on his rookie contract for a couple more years, so that isn't really an issue. I think drafting with 9 to 15 is going to be my plan right now. So let's just see how the draft goes. So Flag to Washington, Ace Bailey to Utah, and then Edgar goes to Portland. You got Toronto taking Dylan Harper, dropping to 4 is pretty wild. Edgecombe going to New Orleans. You got Liam McNeely to Hornets, Jeremiah Fierce to the Nets, and then Trey Johnson, which I would have loved to have taken him to the Bulls. Okay, so who do we take? We have Noah on the board. We have Will Riley. We have Caspers. We have Conrad. We have Maluak. Colin Murray Boyles. Not going to lie, I don't love the draft board right now, honestly. But Noah, to me, feels like, I don't know. I guess we could take Will Riley, too, because he's 6'9", does develop pretty nicely. And then you have Conrad as well, which I don't know much about him, but he's from Duke. I'm going to start this one with Will Riley. I don't love the board based off how it fell for us, but that's what we're going to do. Boogie Flan to Houston, and then Casparis to Brooklyn. And Atlanta takes Maluak, which I think I would have maybe taken him had he'd fallen to 15. But we have Noah Traore, we have Asa Newell, Rocky, Hugo Gonzalez. I'm not going to lie, whoever we draft here, long-term, they may not be on this team. But I'm going to go ahead and take this guy. I don't know how to say his name exactly, but taking Conrad. Then we have an early second. We could take, like, JT Toppin here. But don't plan on these guys being here forever. I mean, we still could definitely make a big trade later on. Will Riley, I think, is a solid pick for a future piece. And then Conrad, I don't know how to say his name, but welcome to San Antonio as well. So those are our 2 picks. Will Riley, Conrad, and JT Toppin. 3 picks, I should say. Wemby, of course, we'll bring him back. And then Wesley. We'll bring back Wesley, but McLaughlin we can decline. Qualifying offers, Harrison Ingram and Riley Minix. We can not worry about those 2 guys. And then for free agency, Charles is a free agent, McLaughlin's a free agent, and so is Sandro. So this is what we got right now. So obviously, let's go ahead and move Fox point guard, because that's where he's going to play for us. So Fox point guard, Blake Wesley right now. Malachi Branham, we just drafted Will Riley, but I think I want to slide Will Riley to small forward. That's where I'm going to want to play him long term, as long as he remains here, which I'm not guaranteeing he will. Could always use him in a trade later on if we need to, because didn't love that draft in totality, to be honest. So then Sohan Barnes, and then Wembanyama. So I do think it makes sense to use Barnes expiring $19 million to go after something else this offseason, though. Could maybe even attach Keldon Johnson. So I do think there is some type of move we can make this offseason. I don't see why we wouldn't. So that might be where I start. Let's go ahead and see if we can trade Harrison Barnes and Keldon Johnson, or just anybody attached with Harrison Barnes to trade for pretty much anything. Whether it's it doesn't really matter what I'm looking for, honestly. I think we could use a number of different things here. So let's just go see what would pop up for us. I actually do kind of like the idea of trading Barnes and one of their picks back for Okongwu. Basically, Okongwu's contract is pretty good for the next 3 years for a backup 5 to backup Wembanyama. Could even put them on the floor at the same time at times. I kind of like the idea of this. So I'm going to give them one of their picks back, and we're going to get, and they're going to be good anyway. The Hawks are always good in the simulation. So obviously, real life, this could be a different story. But Barnes for Okongwu and one of their picks back, I do think this could be pretty nice. We could throw them another piece as well. Maybe we give them JT Toppin, and we took him. I guess they can't take anything else. Can you just do that? You want Malachi Branham? They'll give me Kobe Buffkin, which, ooh, this is kind of interesting. Kobe Buffkin's not a bad player that I would not mind. Can we swap Branham? Can we do Blake Wesley instead? Or that's JT Toppin, apologies. Let's do Blake Wesley instead. Let's see if we can do that. And would they agree to that? They want Julian Champagnie and a pick from Boston. Can't go that route. I wouldn't mind throwing to Champagnie. And then we'll go a couple of seconds. And then what else did they throw to me? Oh, they put Guy in the trade. I'll do seconds, but I can't do more than that. And they're not interested. Okay. Let's remove Kobe Buffkin. Let's just do this. A Harrison Barnes for Okongwu, a first, and a couple of seconds. They agree. So Okongwu is our brand new secured backup center, which I absolutely love. I think him and Wemby could be very versatile together on the floor at times. So love that first trade for us a ton. And that gives us a number of different options still going forward. So that was a big contract we used to acquire Okongwu. But like I said, I think his contract is going to be really good for the next 3 years. That having him as a backup 5 will be a very good weapon for us. So love that trade no matter what. So is there anything else we want to sign in free agency, though? I don't think so. I kind of want to keep our options open at the deadline and just kind of want to see what pops up there. So Harrison Ingram, Riley Minix, welcome. We got Fox. Wemby, of course, is going to be healthy when the season starts. Castle's up to an 84 already. So on is up. Malachi Branham is up. And so is Blake Wesley and Will Riley. Of course, we moved his overall. So we're going to go look at the rotation all together for year 2. But that was just a solid addition. But I think at the deadline, we swing for a bigger fish. Try to acquire a borderline third star. Not maybe necessarily like a third superstar. We're not going after like a Kevin Durant or anything. But maybe somebody who would complement the Spurs or complement Wemby, Castle, and Fox very well. That would be ideal. So here's rotation for next season. Well, I guess we're looking at the proficiency first. So we could be a 4-star pretty much anywhere we want. So I'll leave it at defense for now, I guess. But, oh, Wemby's not healthy yet. So we got to make Wembanyama. He's out. Yeah, we don't want him to be out that long. I'm sure he'll be ready for the next season to start. I just gave him like the max amount of days so he wouldn't play last year. But he'd probably be healthy at this point if I had to guess. I don't really know how... you know, I've never heard of the injury that he has right now, but it doesn't matter. He's healthy. Fox, Castle, Vassell, Sohan Wembanyama, and Okongwu is the backup. Keldon Johnson, Malachi Branham, Julian Champagny, and then Will Riley is rounds up a rotation. And we should be able to make, like I said, another blockbuster trade at the deadline if we see a good one out there for us to take after. So, yeah, well under the second apron, obviously. Fox will need an extension, obviously, which will be done hopefully by this season. We could do the Vassell we could use Vassell's contract. We could use Keldon's contract. We can use, Jeremy Sohan as value. Like, there's a number of different things we could do. So definitely keep a lookout at the deadline because I will try to make a big all-in move. Maybe not all-in move, but a big move at the deadline. I love the Okongwu addition, but I'm definitely looking for something bigger in the starting lineup here soon. So we're 33-19 at the trade deadline. Things are going fairly well. If we take a look at the player stats, obviously Fox and Wemby are doing a great job. I won't lie to you, I did kind of look at the options on the table as far as who's selling. Of course, there's Devin Booker, but I didn't really want to swing for that big. Like, we could, don't get me wrong, but I don't really want to go that big. I want to go for somebody who would just be a nice support player for a couple of years once Wemby, is extended. And I've only landed on one player that I actually kind of like the idea of and feel a little bit realistic about. And now there could be a reunion with Kawhi Leonard, which could be interesting, but he just does not fit the timeline at all. So my game plan, I guess, even though I'm not in love with the idea of it, would be talking to Utah about Lauri Markkanen. He probably wouldn't cost that much anymore. So that would be my game plan. He's got, 4 years on his contract, but right now he's averaging, let's see what he's averaging. So he's averaging 20 points per game. 3-point percentage has gone down a tad bit, but he'd still be a really nice third option on this team. Without a doubt, he really would be. So that by far is my favorite target, even though it's not my favorite one, but I am going to try to see if we can get Lauri Markkanen on the Spurs. So we obviously have to start with Keldon Johnson's salary 100%. We need $24 million in here. Vassell would suck to trade him away. Do we even have any option? Like, I don't know. Cool. So we could throw Sohan in here, but Vassell's contract would probably have to be involved here. And I just don't know if that's even worth the upgrade. So Okongwu, I already, obviously Barnes' contract could have been useful. Maybe we could get there without doing that. So we could trade Will Riley, I guess. But I just don't think it's worth it. So I think we might just stick with what we got and evaluate in the offseason and just kind of see how these playoffs go. So deadline was supposed to be a place where we made a big move, but I just can't get behind trading Vassell for Markkanen. I just don't think that it's that much of an upgrade, at least 2K overall and potentially real life as well. So I'll see you guys at the end of year 2, but we will not be making a deadline move. I'm going to just stick with what we got and kind of see how we do in these playoffs. Luka Doncic wins MVP. Cooper Flagg is your Rookie of the Year. D'Angelo Russell is your 6th man. Wemby Defensive Player, so back in Defensive Player Award. Obviously, him being hurt last year. Gave it to Anthony Davis, but Connect, Most Improved, and Shea is your Clutch Player. Chris Finch, Coach of the Year, and Nathan Mack is your Executive. So here's your All-NBA First Team. So no Wembanyama in All-NBA First Team. No All-NBA Second Team either, but he does make All-NBA Third Team. So Offensive First Team, of course, he's there. And we decided not to make a big move to the deadline, obviously. So I kind of want to just see how good we do in these playoffs. And if it's not good enough, then we can maybe evaluate again. But I just didn't really want to sell assets for Markkanen. That was my favorite realistic target. I just didn't feel like it was worth it. So 23 points from Fox, 21 from Wemby, 14 from Vassell, 11 from Castle, 11 from Branham, and 11 from Keldon Johnson. So let's play the Los Angeles Lakers in round 1. So Luka Doncic, LeBron James. They got our center and Charles as their starting 5. So let's see if he can lock up Wembanyama, and we will beat them in 5. So just like that, we're already in the second round, which is awesome. We get to play the Denver Nuggets, who still have Russell Westbrook, Jokic, of course. And how's Okongwu doing for us? I wasn't even He averaged 7, 9, and almost 2 blocks. So, like I said, still like him as a backup 5. Is he a little rich? Yeah, maybe, but I still do think, like I said, him and Wemby on the floor at times together could be dangerous. But let's go ahead. Somebody come around against Denver. Do we get to the conference finals? And we do. Just like that, we're in the conference finals already. So, haven't even made like a big third support trade. Keldon Johnson is someone I don't often keep very long, and he's still here. But it's working out so far. So we draw Minnesota, though, which obviously is a team I will give a lot more respect. So let's go game by game here. They got Josh Giddey off the bench, too. Game 1 goes to Minnesota. Game 2, they're up 2-0. So it looks like Minnesota is our problem. And, of course, they have Randall and Gobert in their front court. So maybe we can look for a better power forward, because I like Vassell. Obviously, I like Castle. So power forward would be my target this offseason, probably to upgrade from Jeremy Sohan, because it looks like we're not good enough to beat Minnesota, unless if we come back from a 3-0 deficit, which, okay, wait a minute. We're not dead yet. We're going to go to a game 7, which I haven't even fixed the rotation, by the way. This is what I usually like to do in the playoffs. We haven't even been able to do this, and we're still winning. And we were just down 3-0, and now we got our game 7 on our hands in Minnesota. So did we come back from 3-0 just to lose in game 7, or did we actually complete a crazy comeback? It's close, but the Timberwolves are not going to allow it. So maybe I shouldn't have adjusted anything, but still almost found our way out of a big gaping hole, but the Timberwolves go on and win it all. So power forward is my target this offseason. That's the position I want to upgrade. I want to leave Vassell. Didn't want to use his contract. So Suns via Memphis, which, are the Suns really supposed to have that pick? I don't think they are, but that's how 2K has it. I don't know why. Thunder via Miami, Knicks, Washington, Thunder, Utah. Knicks have the 3rd overall pick, obviously. So that Knicks pick, Thunder pick needs to be fixed like usual. Not the Miami one, but the Utah one. But I'm going to look for a power forward target again this offseason. I'm not going after marketing. I just don't think he's worth it. I mean, although if we don't have to trade Vassell and get marketing, I would do it. But I think I have to use his contract, which is my issue with that. So I will say that Will Riley could, in theory, replace Vassell. Obviously, he becomes really good, but still just don't really want to. So on draft night, although I wasn't even really paying attention to what picks we have, so we have no first rounders in this draft at all. Obviously, we traded our right to swap with the Hawks, but let's go ahead and fix those Utah and OKC pick, and then I will look to explore for some more trades as usual. But before we do any of that, we do have to re-sign De'Aaron Fox, obviously, and he's not even going to be getting that much money. $40 million for him is actually incredible value, in my opinion, at this stage. Branham, though, we will resign to a nice deal, and then so on. So maybe we can't make the trade this offseason, but we will definitely have the salary to do something at the trade deadline. So I keep kicking the can down the road, and I keep doing that. But, you know, we could wait till later in the offseason to also do something, too. But we don't have money for, like, Jaren Jackson or anything like that. So let's see what we got. So we got Fox, we got Castle, Malachi Branham, Vassell, Champagnie, Will Riley, and then I'm curious to see how these two develop. And then Keldon Johnson is still here. That contract will be used for a trade no matter what. But yeah, I guess we're going to kick the can down the road again and go to the offseason. So we could sign Davion Mitchell, but I'm just going to bring Blake Wesley back because I think we could use his contract too at the deadline. But we'll have all the options in the world to make a big, gigantic move at the deadline. And that will be the game plan. And I know I keep kicking the can down the road, but at the deadline, we will strike. Or we can even look later this offseason too. So Vassell is already down, which makes things kind of interesting, I guess. Because Will Riley is already up, Conrad is up, and then Branham is up. You have Champagnie up. But let's go take a look at, let's go to this stage of the offseason. And I'm going to go look to see if there's a trade I love right now. And if not, I'll see you guys with the rotation. He has us at 2nd overall. We're 4.5 proficiency at defense. So definitely got to keep that in mind. And here is rotation. So Fox, Castle, Vassell, Sohan, Wemby, Okongwu, Branham, Will Riley, Keldon Johnson, and Harrison Ingram. Obviously, Conrad, Blake Wesley are not getting minutes right now. Keldon will 100% be traded at the deadline. I don't care who's selling or whatever. We're going to make a move at the deadline regardless. So that will be the game plan. I once again explored. I didn't see anything that I loved in particular. So we're going to wait for the right package, man. We really are. We got time. Wemby's super young. But this this trade deadline, we really have to push the agenda. It's got to happen regardless, man. We got to make it happen. I don't care who's available. We're going to make some type of big move. Although this team is really good right now, so a move probably isn't even necessary. But I'm still going to make it happen as, I mean, we're on 80. I'm about to say we could be 70+ win pace right now. But I'll see y'all at the deadline, man. We're making a move, man. I know I keep saying it, but we're doing it. So we're 43-9 at the trade deadline, and I told you a trade was coming, and I know exactly who I want. And he's on a team right now that I think this could potentially happen in real life. It is none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, I want to surround Wembanyama with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I initially wasn't going to go for anything like that, but him being available, it just, it's got to happen. It just has to. We could go for like a Ricochet or Jalen Johnson too. Markkanen still an option as well. Maybe we go after Markkanen if this doesn't work out. But I am going to try to see if we can get Giannis Antetokounmpo to join Wemby and Fox as a new big three. So we're going to start with Sohan in the trade. We'll throw Will Riley in here. We'll throw Conrad in here. We're going to need Keldon Johnson's salary in here. So we're getting to a good package. This Hawks pick, which is a damn good pick as well. So we could be cooking with something. So this for Giannis so far. And I'd take Caleb Martin off here, or Cody Martin, I should say. You give me Dorian Finney-Smith, who shouldn't have trade value. And then let's say it's Plumlee. Okay, $1 million more than allowed. Okay, let's say we remove this pick. We do another player. Let's say we do Blake Wesley. You give me, what was it? Isaiah Jackson, Jamal Shed, or something along the lines of that. Shed wouldn't be a bad throw-in. So on Will Riley, Conrad, Keldon Johnson, Blake Wesley for Shed, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. What do you say? They agree. Just like that, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo as a San Antonio Spur. We gave up quite a bit to make it happen, but at the end of the day, we needed to make it happen. And now Giannis is a San Antonio Spur with Wembanyama. So now you have a very dynamic rotation with Fox, Castle, Vassell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Wembanyama, Okongwu, Branham, Shed, and Champagnie. Shout out to Shed being thrown in as the trade piece, or as another trade piece, because that was pretty big. So he could be another nice piece off the bench. But yeah, Giannis had to be traded away because the Bucks suck and he might leave them in free agency. We go for it with him on the team. I'm definitely curious to see how this ends up going for us. Do we finish up with 70 wins? We only have 9 losses right now. I'll see y'all at the end of the season. So MVP goes to Victor Wembanyama, which is great to see. Boozer Rookie of the Year. Dimon, 6th man for the Blazers. Also defensive player for Wembanyama. Most improved goes to Dylan Harper. Cade, clutch player. And Greg Popovich, coach of the year. As you guys see, we did win 70-plus games. So 71-11 and 71-11 for the executive as well. I guess it's the same team, obviously. But Wemby All-NBA first team. Giannis makes All-NBA second team. So Wemby and Giannis would be absolutely insane. But I don't think it's necessarily impossible. Like, it really could be something that happens as soon as this offseason. If the Bucks flame out in round 1 and the Spurs are sitting with 2 lottery picks, like, is it possible something like that could transpire? I don't think it's impossible. It would be crazy, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So 23 from Fox, 24 from Giannis, and then 27 from Victor Wembanyama, 13 from Castle, 13 from Vassell, 12 from Branham, 8 from Shed, and then 7 from Finney-Smith, and 6 from Okongwu, 7 rebounds and a block. So obviously, 70-plus wins is great, but all that matters is winning a championship. So let's see if a championship does get hoisted in San Antonio. Get Popovich one more ring, which, by the way, Giannis coming over here for the proficiency. Yeah, it's a 5-star proficiency, so that makes a lot of sense. So Wembanyama, Giannis, Fox, Castle, Vassell. I mean, it's a pretty nasty rotation, honestly. So Dallas in round 2, which they're good. It would be crazy if we went 16-0 in the playoffs. Or we already lost one game. What am I talking about? Never mind. So, but we will beat the Dallas Mavericks in 5. And obviously, the Timberwolves are the team that beat us last year. Do we get revenge in the conference finals? They win game 1 by a ton. Wow, they're up 2-0 just like that. Damn, okay. All right, I am stunned. Minnesota is just like that, I guess. Wow. The fact that we didn't even get 1 win is pretty bizarre, but I guess we have to run it back again. So that is fine with me. I actually kind of want to see if this team could go. They're not going to go 82-0, but it would be wild if we got close to it, I guess. But man, that sucks. I cannot believe we lost that quickly. Really disappointing, but it is what it is. Obviously, the main concern is keeping Giannis now. We traded for him for his bird rights. Obviously, he has a player option, which he's going to decline. Wemby needs to be paid too, which I wasn't even really keeping that into account. But it doesn't matter. We're going to keep both of them, obviously. Champagnie will let go probably. But Giannis and Wembanyama, obviously, no-brainer. Or wait, what? It says I used all my offer. Oh, never mind. I used all my offers. Wait, Giannis's offer. Where's number 1? Good. Okay, so Wemby, Giannis, they're gonna stick around if I can even say his name correctly. Yeah, that looks good. So now, do we sign another good player? I guess Champagnie probably could be brought back unless we have somebody else who could play there. Not okay. So Branham, Castle, Finney-Smith. No, he's gonna regress. Okongwu. So yeah, we probably do need to bring Champagne back. And then if there's anybody else we could go after, we'd probably do it too. So even Ingram could play this year, probably. So resign both of them. And then Jamal Shed, hopefully, will be back too. That'll be helpful. He'll be our backup point guard. So that was a really good throw in for us. He might even progress more too. So that'd be nice. The top end also could play this year. Totally forgot about him. So let's see if those two are 3 or 2, whatever it is. Yep. Come back to the qualifying offer. So Shed and then Ingram and then JT Toppin, both 76. So they could fight over who plays there. But obviously, we flamed out in the conference finals 2 years in a row now to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So hopefully this time is different. We shall see. I would love to see us go 78-4, something crazy like that. But I highly doubt it, although it would be fun. But 5-star proficiency under Popovich, which is just a ton of fun. And then we'll, rock the 9-man rotation still, which is good. And so it's Fox, Castle, Vassell, Giannis, Wemby, Branham, Okongwu, Shed, Champagne. So let's simulate, or let's talk. Let's look at the simulation together until we lose. Oh, we already lost. Never mind. So I'll see you guys at the end of, what is this, year 4 at this point? Year 5? I don't know. But hopefully this year is the year we get a championship with Wemby. I'd like to think it would be. Giannis and Wemby get a full training camp together. The chemistry will be better. Hopefully, we could take down the Timberwolves, 3rd time being a charm. So another MVP for Victor Wembanyama, and of course, defensive player also goes to him, and Popovich wins Coach of the Year again. Giannis, All-NBA 2nd team with Wembanyama, but and then Wemby, and both of them all defensive 1st team, by the way, also. So 1st seed in the Western Conference, Minnesota is the 3rd seed, so they've been the problem for us so far. 26 from Wemby, 21 from Giannis, 18 from Fox, and then 15 from Castle. 13 from Branham, 11 from Vassell. So we get to play the Jazz in round 1, who have Ace Bailey, Markkanen, Koa, Wiseman, Collier, Keontae George. Obviously, my expectation is we get to the conference finals and it's Minnesota there or somebody else. And so Minnesota makes it to round 2. We beat Dallas pretty easy last year, so hopefully that's what happens again. And we beat them in 5. It's OKC and not the Timberwolves this time. So OKC has Hardenstein. They have AJ DeBanza as well. That's pretty crazy for them. So he must have fallen to the 2nd overall pick. He did. So who was picking 1 again in that draft? I think it was the Grizzlies because I gave that. I don't know if the Suns are supposed to have that Grizzlies pick. I don't think they are, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. Game 1 goes to us, so already better than it was against Minnesota each and every time. And are we going to sweep the Thunder? We will not. We'll beat them in 5, though. So we get Detroit in the NBA Finals. So 1st time in the Finals because Minnesota stopped us each and every single time. But we get to play Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. You have Kashawn George, Jalen Duren, Lonzo, Asar, and Ivy. I mean, with all due respect, we should win this series, I'd like to think. I don't really think they have the size to deal with us, and it will be a win for Giannis, Wembanyama, Fox, and the Spurs. So that will be a beautiful way to end this one off. Man, what a duo this would be if it were to occur. Again, I don't think it's impossible. I really do think this could actually happen as soon as this offseason. A lot of crazy things would have to happen, but I wouldn't rule it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a great weekend. I don't know if I'm going to upload this Friday or Saturday. I'm recording this on Thursday, so I'll let you know, but I guess I won't. You'll see it. I don't need to let you know, but have a great weekend. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.